Welcome to Wrestling with Success, the best and only podcast for the wrestlers of tomorrow. Please welcome your host, Nigel? Oh, right. Your host and future champion, Neil McMillan.
Alright guys, welcome everyone to the very first episode of Wrestling with Success. And I've got to say, I'm excited. I'm thrilled. This is something that I've wanted to do for months now. And yeah, very first episode, very excited and very glad that you've decided to click on it and join me on the very first episode. Now this podcast, guys, Wrestling with Success, is the best and only podcast for the wrestlers of tomorrow. This is aimed at you, people aspiring to become professional wrestlers, people working up the ranks of professional wrestling. This is for you. This is a journey and my personal journal into the life of an aspiring wrestler. So guys, who the hell am I? Whose voice is this? Well, my name is Neil McMillan. Neil and or Niall. I've got one of those weird names that if you look at it, it looks like Niall, but it's not. It's Neil. It's for another day. My name is Neil McMillan. I am a 28-year-old male, currently living in Essex. And guys, I am an avid wrestling fan, and I have been since 1999. Going back to my very first match that I watched with wrestling, that we can all remember the first match we saw. My specific match was WWF Rebellion. And that was The Rock versus Triple H. We were watching it at a friend's house at Sky Box Office. It was a pay-per-view, but I don't think it was like a USA pay-per-view. It was like a UK one. So it was like no titles changed hands. It was like a house show pay-per-view. And yeah, that show, guys, I watched The Rock versus Triple H, Steel Cage. Wow. Just wow. Ever since then, bam. And to be honest, it was probably the best time to be a wrestling fan. But I missed the Austin era, kind of. And then, Royal Rumble night in 2000 with The Rock winning that. Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Triple H. Wow, what a time. And to be honest, guys, ever since then, so that was 1999. And I'm now, I don't know how old I was then, but now I'm a 28-year-old man. I always thought I'd grow out of watching wrestling, but bam, I'm still hooked. Still got me. Now, in terms of actually wrestling professionally, so back when I was a teenager, around when I was about 13, I thought it would be pretty cool to, I think I asked Jeeves at the time, I don't think you could Google at the time, to ask Jeeves or possibly look in a magazine, that's how old I am, to find where the nearest wrestling school was. And when I was 13, I found a wrestling school in Essex called Dropkicks Academy. And from there, guys, I was living in Kent at the time. My poor mum and dad had to drive and drop me to training every single week. I think I only went for about 4 or 5 weeks. And I just felt, a bit bad for my parents. I was quite shy at the time. I was still quite young. My parents would have to drive all the way there, leave me for a few hours, kind of hover around for a little bit and then take me home. My friend Matt, who I went with at the time, I don't think he was as keen as I was. So, and when you're a teenager, you kind of, you realise that wrestling isn't the coolest thing to do. And the only thing you care about when you're a teenager is girls. Where did that hair come from, and what do I have to do to get rid of these spots? So I didn't really keep it up, which is a shame, because who knows where I'd be now if I kept it up. So fast forward, how many years? 15 years. That's scary. 15 years. A close friend of mine, he had quite a tragedy in his family. Unfortunately, his dad got cancer and passed away quite suddenly. And as much as a tragedy that was, when I went to his funeral of my friend's dad, you kind of realise when I was there that although such a bad thing happened, his dad, he did so much within his life to ensure that he filled it. And I think that's very important because he passed away very suddenly, which is very sad. And I thought it was it inspired me, if I'm honest, that you've got to kind of, embrace life and just kind of anything you want to do, just go ahead and do it. Because as cliche as it sounds, you only get one shot. I'm getting all Eminem on you now. I'm going to get all B-Rabbit. You only get one shot. And you've got to do all the things. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Like, honestly, like, just stop caring what anybody else thinks. Just do exactly what you wanted to do. And then not only that, I remember I was speaking to someone, another one of my friends, and I was kind of preaching to them about how, you need to do all the things in life, no regrets, and all that spiel. And I realised that the main thing I've always wanted to do, is to be able to wrestle one match in a ring. And, I thought I can't really be giving this advice about how you need to be living your life if I don't practice what I'm preaching. So I had a word with my wife now, and she fully supported me in the idea. She thought, if you wanted to go ahead, do it, absolutely fine. She probably didn't really think I'd go ahead and do it. She probably just thought, go ahead, go for it. And then signed off the permission slip without even thinking about the consequences. But she's been very, very supportive. And guys, I looked it up. I Googled drop kicks. It was a lot easier to find this time rather than asking Jeeves. Google drop kicks, bam, the place is still open. It's being run by a guy called Lucas Jackson. Very friendly crowd down there, guys. Honestly, I've been back. I went back there probably around about 3 months. I've been there now. They're based in Purfleet, and you can find that promotion, guys, on Facebook. Just type in Dropkicks Wrestling Essex. I'm sure it'll crop up then. So I've been going for about 3 months now. And really, what I want to do with this podcast is not only do I want to use it in a selfish way, as in journal what I am doing and how I'm progressing, it's also to kind of inspire you younger guys, or older guys, those people who want to become a wrestler, those people who are aspiring to step inside a ring, to train, to become a wrestler. And not only that, I think as I go along my journey, and as I progress and the more people I speak to and interview on the show, I can help people who have been wrestling longer than I have, who are working up the ranks, and I can get some advice of some experienced pros on the show, and they can give you some tips of the trade, guys. And that's really what I want from this podcast, is not only to inspire the people who are aspiring to become wrestlers, is to help these people who are, working their way up the ranks, and heck, if I can entertain you as well, then we're doing a good job here, guys, aren't we? So this is a journal about my progress, about your progress, about other wrestlers on the roster progress, how they started out, what they found difficult, what they found easy, what they used as tips, all these type of things, guys, that I want to include on this. So you guys listening for this first podcast is really to introduce you to the show, and so you know what you can expect from Wrestling with Success. And it's called Wrestling with Success because that's what I'm doing. I'm wrestling with the success of making it as a wrestler. That is my journey. That is me starting. I'm wrestling with success, and I will win. I will win because I love the sport. I love the whole drama of it all. So guys, for future episodes, you can expect interviews with current wrestlers touring around, doing different shows on a nightly basis. Wrestlers who have been doing it for about 1 month. Wrestlers who have been doing it for 6 months. Wrestlers who have been doing it for 16 years. That's what I'm hoping to get, is to bring that experience, bring that knowledge onto the show to share their experiences with you and any sorts of tips, and to inspire you guys to try and step inside the squared circle. So future episodes will be including stuff on character work, storytelling, chain wrestling, shoots, the way things used to be, the old school, the new school, heck, even my thoughts on the WWE NXT product. And I'm sorry, any other product, I can't keep up. Honestly, I can't keep up with any other product apart from Dropkicks, WWE, NXT. I mean, ideally, I liked the Cruiserweight. I liked the whole Cruiserweight thing, the Cruiserweight show that they did. I forgot what it's called. The first show, that was good. They put it on 205 Live. They put it on Raw. Killed it all. Ruined it. So I can only really keep up with WWE and NXT. So my thoughts on Raw, my thoughts on SmackDown, my thoughts on all the pay-per-views going forward as well. So that's practically it, guys. That is the first episode, and that is an introduction, if you will, to Wrestling with Success. Next episode, I'm looking to hopefully get an interview with one of the guys down at Dropkicks. Even possibly get the main man himself, Lucas Jackson, the guy running the things down there. I think it would be a nice way to kick off the Wrestling with Success podcast. So guys, in terms of keeping up to date with me and following me and the Wrestling with Success brand we're kicking off, if we can dare call it that, you can follow me on Instagram. Straight away, it's all very simple. Wrestling with Success. Search that. You'll see a terrible image of me in the background. It faintly looks like a human being, and then it's got Wrestling with Success. You can also find me on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page there, guys. Wrestling with Success again. Type it in. I'm sure you'll find it. I like to take a lot of recordings of what I do on training. A lot of videos as well to show you how I'm progressing, how some of the guys are progressing, some things that you can learn. It's basically a journal I like to keep and to put onto Facebook so you can see how I'm progressing, following me on my journey. And yeah, I like to share a lot of content, and I'll be sharing a lot of other people's content on the Facebook page. That'll be definitely worth a follow. You can also take a look at my website for whatever. To be honest, I'm not going to be putting a great deal of things on my website, but it's worth having a peek at if you want to, and that's www.wrestlingwithsuccess.co.uk. And finally, guys, I am a absolute snap twat. I get bored very easily, and I like the ability of quickly entertaining people with my fingertips. No comment. You can follow me on Snapchat at Neil, spelt Niall. God, those parents. At Niall, Niall, Macmillan, Macmillan, Niall Macmillan, Neil and or Niall Macmillan, Snapchat. That's where you can find me. All the details will be on the podcast down below. And thank you very much, guys. It's honestly absolute pleasure for you guys to be listening to my very first podcast, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you can listen to that, even just one more. Another thing, guys, to really help raise the awareness of this podcast, ensure that all of this goes out to all those future wrestlers and to shape the wrestling world for tomorrow. It would mean the absolute world to me if you could leave me a review, and any sort of feedback on iTunes would be greatly appreciated, guys. So that's it, guys. Anything you need from me, any sort of questions that you would like me to ask the pros, then please feel free to get in touch. And guys, I'll see you on the next episode.